Hey everybody, welcome once again to Root Access. I'm Ryan Ritchie, Jamie DeGrazia with me. Why are you here?
Because I used to work at Apple Retail.
And you owe me.
And I owe you.
You owe me big. Previously, we've talked about the top 3 reasons to work at Apple, top 3 reasons, Apple at the Genius Bar, I should say, and top 3 reasons not to. So looking at some questions we got in reply to that, thought we'd continue with this work theme. And this one comes from Phil. I hope it's not Phil Schiller. It says, what's the best position in Apple retail? Let's see. You'd have to think about what you mean by best. But we'll throw some.
Yeah, I mean, we were thinking about this, and it's tough. I guess we came to the conclusion that it was probably the creatives.
If you like what the creative does,
Yeah,
I think the creative's a pretty good gig.
I mean, the thing about the creatives, and I've never was one, so I don't know all the in and outs or what it's like, daily. But they're working with someone individually, for an hour at a time. They're not dealing with selling anything. They're not dealing with anything that's broken typically, although sometimes they're working out some problems.
Sure.
Typically not like a hardware issue. They're not dealing with iPods, certainly, or iPhones. And so it's more just if you like doing, a teaching environment and you like working one-on-one. Now, of course, you could get stuck with somebody for an hour that, you really can't stand.
Right.
And, you can't teach them anything.
And then you have them scheduled for a day you're not there going forward.
Yeah, but then you also realize you're probably going to see them again at some point.
That's true.
But I think, the creatives is, if you like doing that, it's a good gig. But on the other hand, if you're really good at doing, teaching somebody Final Cut or Logic or what have you, then you could probably make more money doing that professionally somewhere else.
Right, do you want to do it there? Yeah. Well, but it's interesting because I know in our store, and I think this is true for many of the stores, there are certain types of people who are attracted to Apple products. Some of us are slick sales kind, I don't know, and creatives. But there's also this group that is a very patient group. They enjoy, taking their time to do something and all that good stuff. And so those folks who want to work for Apple but don't want the go of sales, if you know your way around the programs, it's not a bad gig. And because it's not one of those situations where you're out, doing a training to get people certified or something, the bar isn't quite as high for your knowledge level, which can be good or bad for a customer.
I mean, I think now basically they want them to know iLife inside and out, the Mac OS obviously, and then at least know enough of the pro apps, Final Cut and
to get someone started.
Yeah, and Aperture, things like that. I don't think they're, expected to know like Logic.
James Cameron's not going to come in and say, I can't get my 5.1 mix correct on my on Titanic 2, the sequel. Yep. That'd be a good sequel.
Titanic, I don't think he can do a sequel to Titanic.
Oh, I don't know. Give him time. He might pull it off. Another question we had. Oh boy, this is a tough one. I guess we'll both answer this. Cindy asks, "Why did you leave Apple?"
Because we say it's so great. Why would anyone leave?
Why would you leave? You want to go first?
Sure. I mean, I was there, 4.5 years as a Mac Genius, and I've told other people I don't think the Mac Genius is as much fun as a job is. It's also a lot of work. It's very, it can be very stressful, and it's not a job where I think you can do it forever. I think you're just going to burn yourself out, and that's what I kind of did.
And we've seen that with other people.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't the first, and I won't be the last person who has to leave Apple Retail being a Mac Genius. It's very repetitious, and at some point, you just feel like you need to do something else.
And the repetition, but the thing that kind of spoils you with it, unless this isn't your thing, is the interaction with people. And there's so many different people that come in and they sit down and they interact with you. And there aren't a lot of jobs like that.
No, I mean, the job I have now, that's the thing I miss most, is actually interacting with people. So it's sort of like two sides of the same coin. Like one side's really great interacting with people, the other side, you're doing it all day. You're always in front with the public. You can, the bad customers occasionally, and that can wear on you. But I think it's a great job while you have it. I just don't think you can do it forever.
I think for me, it also was a lot of the repetition. I was doing the business consultant part of it. I didn't do that very long. Okay, so there was business consultant and business specialist, and essentially the difference was that when you're the business specialist, you're still a Mac specialist, and you're just kind of the person everybody pushes the business sales to, which. If you're really into business sales and all that, I guess you could really get into it. But at the time I was there, and I think this is still the case, there really was no incentive for you to sell a lot of computers for yourself. So, but in that role, you still had to deal with all the specialist issues, and it was the same repetition thing. People would come in, again, my example is always the iPod, and there was just this 1 minute long spiel you gave with every person that asked about it over and over and over again. I wanted to record it and play it. So I was restocking Blue's Clues one day in the kids section, putting it back up there, and I thought, this isn't what I want to do.
Yeah.
I really like Apple, but this isn't it. So a little time went by, and I was kind of getting into the business role. And then one day I took a break. I took a 15-minute smoke break.
Yeah, and that was your last 15.
I went over to
Never came back.
I went over to the Strawbridges and played some Q*bert in the men's room. I know that sounds like a euphemism for something, but I actually was playing Q*bert on my phone. And I walked around once and I said, "That's it. That's it."
Turn in your badge, your Apple badge.
Got in the car, took off.
Drove home.
That was it. So that's why I quit. That's why he quit. His own reason, not because I quit. It wasn't.
Not because you were playing Q*bert.
You stuck with it.
I was there a little bit longer. Yeah.
About a year.
Yeah, about a little over a year.
Longer than that.
Yeah.
Very good. But I would, it's funny because once time goes by, you start. I guess it's the old rose-colored glasses. Because you hear about a new store.
Oh, yeah,
for a second,
you start missing stuff.
Yeah,
you go, maybe I can go back.
It's not so bad when it first opens.
But the funny thing is, when you go back now, it would never be the same as your first time. So
that's what they say. Exactly. And you should know, my friend. I don't know what that means. So there you go. That's our personal look at why we left. If you worked at Apple, either retail or otherwise, and you left,
let us know.
Let us know. Let us know why.
Maybe
you're
thinking about leaving.
Maybe
we can intervene,
or you can join the blog. Send us an email, root@thedigital.lifestyle.tv, and we'll see you next time.